What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can invest in NFTs. Now, when I say invest, all this really means is doing your due diligence. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, what the due diligence people are doing that are having these big flips that are gaining a bunch of profit. I'm not included in this. I've never done a flip. This is all research, still in the research phase here. But maybe toward the end, you might be able to convince me to buy one that I think would be a good flip. However, I just want to say this one more time. I think that NFTs fall in that 10% category, 90-10, 90% being in stable investments, your index funds and your real estate, and then 10% in super volatile play investment type stuff like NFTs, crypto. I would even put penny stocks in there if you were like trying to be a day trader and wanted to play around with that. Your budget should be like that for that 10%. What gives NFTs value, as we've discussed, it's perception based. It's all, what people believe that this thing costs. It's almost like trading art, right? Who are we to say that the Mona Lisa costs so much? Well, we all perceive it as a valuable thing, and therefore it is valuable. So you kind of want to follow the hype. That's the first key. You're going to follow the hype. And what that looks like is you're not entirely investing, and this is purely for this. I'm not going to talk about the gaming side of this. I'm not going to talk about the high-end art. I'm going to talk about the community NFTs that we're seeing. And really, you're not investing in the NFT art itself. You're investing into a community or the leadership of that community or NFT project. So when you find a project, you want to know who the leadership is and what their track record is. And the first way you do that is by heading onto Twitter. I know. You're going to head onto Twitter and you're just going to get involved in the NFT space. It is active. It is popping. You can see it's got its own, what are people saying about NFTs right now? And pretty much follow all the big dogs, because they're going to be the ones that are having this big influence on what's getting the hype. And usually you're able to tell who's an honest broker of like, yo, this is a project that I am in. And then they have their collection, right? You can always see people's collection, like this guy, he's a big NFT guy, or even some of these other names. I mean, I can list a couple more in the description if you'd like, but these are just people that are like in the NFT space. Like, this is what they do now. They found a way to make this their full-time gig of just trading NFTs, which is beyond me. But this is the type of hype that you're going to want to keep an eye out for, is what are people talking about on Twitter? What are they saying? And then let's say you find a project that you're like, oh, this might be decent. You'll see them on Twitter. So our favorite, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, I've used 1,000 times. The Doge Pound is a good example of this, but let me show one that just came up. And this is me not endorsing this. I'm not endorsing this in the slightest. I've done a very minimal work on finding this project for this video. This is just like one that met all of the markers. This is a new project coming out, the Hype Bears. And really what you want to look for is between 5,000 and 10,000 followers, because that's usually the amount of collections. So if there's 10,000 pieces, it's a good sign if you have 8,000 people following their Twitter account for this project. And from there, you're going to see if they're active, see what they're posting, how they're popping off. 1 hour, 4 hour, 15 hour. This was 2 days ago, 17 hours ago. You want to see if they're active. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer at the end of this video on what I think you should look out for scams as well. So please beware for that. In all of these projects, 99% of the time, they're going to have a Discord. And if they don't have a Discord, it's a bad sign. So they're going to have a Discord and you're going to open it up and you're going to check out how active it is. I've already been to this one. I think Discord's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, for being honest, but all it is a chat room for communities. But when I was in here, it was just like people just spewing, just talking. So this is in the Hype Bears, and it's a good sign if people are constantly talking. That's a good sign. That means people are involved. There's a lot of hype around this project, and they're liking it. The other thing that you want to do is hopefully interact with the founders that are in here. There's a roadmap talking about like, where do they see Hype Bears going, or the Doge Pound going. This is pretty much why should you invest in the long term. And these founders should be giving updates 1 to every 2 days. And they should be providing incentives for people to hold on to their NFT collection or their NFT and not just do quick flips, because NFTs, the longer you hold it and the more hype that's around it, if you can just continue to push this perception that, oh, this is a valuable thing that everybody wants, and you can hold it for a long enough time, you can go from somebody that minted the project, and I'll talk about that in a second, that got in early, and then it's worth way more in the future. That's kind of the pull there. And at the end of the day, the reason that you're investing in this community and the leadership of whatever this project is because you want people that have done it before. So the person behind this Hype Bears that I saw, I don't know who this is, but apparently they made 7 figures under 6 months. If we choose to believe it, it's a good sign as to, wow, this person's been in the NFT space and they've found their way. They'll know what they're doing for the most part, you would hope. So you'd want to get early in something like this. The reason you want to be part of this Discord is because these founders are going to say things that they're not going to say to the public. So you're going to be able to make the right money moves according to what they're saying. Now let's talk about minting. So if you are early to a project, you're going to do what's called a mint. And all a mint is typically these projects will have their own website where you can purchase or mint a NFT before the NFTs are released to the public. And what the mint will do is it'll provide you a random NFT that's in the collection. So you may come up with one of the most rare NFTs in the collection. Be a baller, have a quick flip from the get-go. So you purchase this and you get a nice rare one, flip it the next day because the hype, it's public and now people want it, or you get stuck with the one that's on the floor price. And then you're going to have to ride the wave and hope that the whole project moves up in value so that floor price will continue to raise as you hold on to it. The other thing to mention is there's this thing called gas price. So when you buy this, it's pretty much a fee to send the money. It's pretty much like a transaction fee. So if I buy this for $300, it could have a gas price or gas fee of, another $35-$40. So this is going to end up being like a $370 move here. But I hear that many people will like to buy 2. That way they can try to have higher odds of getting a random one. And 2, if they get one they like, they can hold on to it and they can flip the other one. So they can stay part of the community and they can still make some money at the same time. And when you mint something like this, this is where you're going to see the most gains. The other thing you can do to up your investments is just follow the bigwigs. And do what they do. Is like insider trading for NFTs. So Gary Vee is in love with NFTs and he has 2,400 in his collection. So you would kind of want to just see what he's buying. He's got Punk's Lab. He's got some unnamed shark, and even on NFT Twitter, you'll be able to pop in there and see what people are investing in pretty dang fast. So do that. This guy, I've seen this guy a lot. Yeah, it's tough to say. It's pretty much just like trying to ride the wave. And half the time, when you mint a project like this, it's either going to go up or going to go down. You're either going to lose your $350 or you might double your money. So it depends on the risk that you want to take. The other thing that you can do when you find a collection is you can sort by sales. You can see when was the last time these things were purchased. So if you were to mint something and then the project goes live and then you're seeing all of this action of like, oh man, people are trying to get in. It's, you can flip it pretty quickly because people are buying. The other thing that people say are if the volume is low, you want to ride the wave. So buy the cheapest one you can and buy at the floor price and, hope that the project goes up over time. If the volume is high, like right here, you'd want to buy as rare as you possibly can. That way you're bound to get a higher price because you have one of the more rare ones. And like we saw in the last video, you can check out your rarity score, your rarity tools to find yourself a good deal. These guys, this is hilarious. I can't believe this is a real project. But if you're looking to spend like 0.5 of an ETH, this will show you like which ones you can afford. And then obviously you'd want to choose the rarest one you can, which would be this one, number 39. And this is going for like what, 700 and something bucks. Okay, so what I really wanted to say, the disclaimer, the reason this is so difficult for me to be like, yeah, this is a good investment. Of course, I think there's money to be made here, but check this out. Just check this out. This is going to open up your noggin a little bit. Creating an NFT is insanely easy. And I don't mean to discredit a lot of these NFT projects, but it is. All in NFT, all it takes to make it is you can go to OpenSea.io or to Rarible and you hit create. And if you have a bunch of JPEGs that you purchased from Fiverr Art, you can create your own project And then it's going to ask you, do you have, like your Twitters and all that stuff? If you wanted to put a Twitter project, you could just buy followers and you could buy activity. And then you could go on Instagram and find NFT influencer accounts and pay them for shout outs to promote your project, to build fake hype around this project. And then all of a sudden, all of these people want to be in your hyped up project that has been fueled by fake bots. And you can just launder your money through here. And you can have 10,000 of these JPEGs all, ready to go. The only thing I don't understand is how you would create a website to mint them. But if you're getting people to buy your thing through straight hype and being on Twitter and just being active or even fake active, it's very easy to fake it. So that's why the other part of this is like there's so many, not scams, but there's so much potential to dupe people and for people to be duped through these projects. Even this hype bear one, I'm like, are these 93,000 followers fake? Right? I mean, 23,000 likes, that's a good sign, and this is like a good engagement ratio, but like part of me wonders. And then when I joined the Discord, it was like, we got hacked by a bunch of bots, and who's to say? And the other thing that I don't like about this is flipping them is there's not a process that's replicable. I mean, of course, I've looked in, you do the due diligence of like looking who's the leader, looking who's the founder, is the community active? And then if there's bonus technology, like if it was for a game where you can gamble your NFT, things like that, that's something to be said. You can do all the due diligence, but not like when you're flipping a home and it's like, yeah, okay, this has a great foundation. All we need to do is fix the roof kind of deal. And then we can like buy it and then rehab it and flip it, right? It's like less of a process. And maybe it's because the space is so new and there's still so many unknown variables, but I am a bit worried about how easy it is to put an NFT together and put an NFT project together. And I honestly think I could do this relatively easily. But the thing is, I'm not going to take anybody's money. I'm not going to steal anybody's money. I'm going to be the person that holds on to the NFTs for the next 20, 30 years to try to grow this community to as big as it can be. So maybe there are people like me. Maybe there's people that don't want to do a money grab and don't want to launder their money through them. But definitely something to keep in mind with all the other people that don't have moral compass in the slightest. So that's that. I would love to create an NFT set of a handful of things. Here are my ideas now that we're here. The first is just have like 10,000 different verbs. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be super fun. I'd love to make one that's full of a bunch of surf type characters, like a surf kid, Matt, if you're watching this. Another one we've seen the power of music, but I would love to turn my podcast episodes into NFTs. I think that would be sick. And the NFT would provide you access into bonus content. And then there's this other thing called podcastindex.org that is kind of trying to do something similar to that for podcasts, but I haven't seen them. Oh God. I haven't seen, the practical use for them, but I think that'd be a super sick way to get podcasting on the blockchain technology. I think that'd be super cool. Anywho, that's how you invest in them, but that's kind of the process. You want to see if the hype is real, check the leaders and founders and make sure they've done something good in their lives before, like run a business or have success in another industry or even success with NFTs. You want to make sure the community is popping. You can coattail an inside trade other big investors like Gary Vee. Always check to see how rare your NFT is before buying or selling. I think that's it for the most part. At least that's as far as I've gotten so far with research on how to invest in NFTs in a way that's not gonna, at least you can be proud of, even if you lose your money, you'd be proud of how you lost it. Another thing to note, 98% of these NFT projects are failing right now. So that's another reason why to keep your money out of them. But anywho, don't lose all of your money in NFTs, invest wisely. And if you're going to make your own NFT project, do it with some integrity. All right. Love you. Comment down below, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one. That was for you.